involved in it, but to even advocate it to other people, especially you viewers who are in the youth sector. No, you can really create more of these innovation challenges in your respective places. Next. So we have our partners, no? So JCI is a partner, NMYL, no? So a group of councilors, governors, so everyone who's considered part of the youth sector, who's in government. So we're in partnership with them. Impact Hub Manila, one of the biggest co-working support spaces, no, in the Philippines. GPPB, of course, and their team. World Economic Forum Global Shapers. Okay, so they'll serve as mentors. U.S. Department of State, U.S. Embassy. So they're the ones who funded this program. So shout out again to Edge Bautista, our coordinator for YSEALI in the Philippines. No, so hi. Thank you for mentoring us or guiding us in this project. Okay. Then our local government units. So we have chosen 4 initially, but we hope that whoever's viewing here, no, who's part of a national agency or is part of a local government, feel free to get in touch with us so that by 2021, 2022, even post-quarantine, no, let's do this. And then local universities, okay, in the Philippines. So we want to be as well. Okay, so that's precisely what iProcure is, no? So next. So let me now turn over. So now we're going to be starting, no, the discussion with our guest speaker. So introduce our guest. Let me now get back to Arnold.
Okay, thanks for that. So moving forward, our guest speaker for our first webinar series is the Executive Director of the Government Procurement Board Technical Support Office. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in political science from De La Salle University, Manila, obtained her Bachelor of Laws degree from San Beda College of Law, Manila, and her Master's of Law Evaluation and Development from the University of London, England. From 2009 to 2018, she headed the legal service of the Department of Budgeting. She's not just known for her expertise in government budgeting, but in government procurement as well, having worked on the Bids and Awards Committee on the development of Philippine properties in Japan and the DBM Bids and Awards Committee. In fact, she recommended to the DBM Secretary decisions on the appeals and protest actions filed against the DBM Procurement Service over the years. Aside from serving as a project procurement consultant of the Asian Development Bank, she is also a highly requested resource speaker and lecturer for various agencies, civil society organizations, and universities to discuss government procurement. Her extensive government exposure has led her to gain valuable insights and challenging experiences on the political, legal aspects of governance. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Attorney Rowena Candice Ruiz.
So good afternoon, everyone. Everybody hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Great. So magandang hapon hapon po sa inyong lahat. Before I start, I want to thank, of course, our collaborators from iProcure for having us as the first of their webinar series, procurement. Of course, I want to welcome everybody who's watching us from the platform Zoom, as well as those who are watching and listening in from our Facebook live stream. Don't worry, very interesting topic, especially in this time of pandemic. We actually received an enormous and overwhelming amount of requests to be accommodated on our Zoom discussion. But don't worry, because this will not be the first and definitely not be the last. So there will be other webinar series of the GPPB TSO, not just on emergency procurement, but also on other aspects of procurement under 9184. So just watch out for all of for the future webinar that will be off. Note that for those who's not in Zoom, don't worry, you may be able to also drop in your comments and questions through slido.com. So go to slido.com and then enter as event code #governmentprocurementph for you to be able to drop in your questions and even comments. Now, let me begin. I think the very first question that might come to your mind is, what is this emergency procurement under the Bayanihan Act? Now, the simple question that the simple answer rather that I would give for this is that this is the special procurement mode in compliance with the passage of the Bayanihan Act. The President was authorized to undertake the procurement of identified good provisions of RA that differentiates sa Bayanihan procurement from rules. Bakit po? Because hindi po siya sakop ng provisions ng 9184. Okay? That's one of the basic difference po with the existing emergency procurement that we have now under Section 53.B of RA 9184. The authority that would govern in the implementation of the Bayanihan procurement would be GPPB. The TSO issued an opinion related to this. We issued NPM number 004-2020 precisely to guide procuring entities in the conduct of emergency procurement under the Bayanihan Act, specifically summarizing the procedures and requirements, as well as address possible issues and clarifications. Meron po kami doon mga frequently asked questions and answers doon sa aming opinion na nilabas. Now, as I mentioned earlier, meron na po tayo, bago pa maipasa ang Bayanihan Act, meron na po tayong tinatawag na emergency procurement, okay? Or negotiated procurement under emergency cases under 9184. Maaari niyong tanungin, kailan ko pwedeng gamitin ang Bayanihan procurement? Effective April 12, 2020, pwede na pong gamitin ng lahat ng procuring entities sa Pilipinas ang ating GPPB guidelines on Bayanihan procurement. Okay? Now, the next question you might ask, paano if I'm already undertaking emergency procurement under 9184, pero gusto kong i-avail, yung pwede ko bang i-apply sa aking ongoing procurement under 9184 emergency cases ang mga provision ng GPPB Circular Number 1? The simple answer po dyan ay hindi. Bakit po? Hindi niyo po pwedeng i-apply midstream ang rules ng Bayanihan procurement if you're already undertaking or conducting procurement under 9184 emergency cases. Bakit po? Meron po tayo kasi mga penal provisions sa ating Circular Number 1. Hindi po as a rule under the principle of prohibition ng ex post facto law, hindi po pwede yung bigyan ng retroactive effect. So ano po ang pwede nyo gawin doon? Kailangan nyo po na i-cancel ang inyong existing procurement at mag-commence ng bago under the Bayanihan procurement rules. Okay. Now, the other question you might ask, paano ko malalaman kung Bayanihan procurement ang i-apply ko or ang existing negotiated procurement under emergency cases ng 9184. Simple lamang po. Ang kagandahan po ng bayanihan procurement, in-identify na po ang mga items covered by it. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? In general, items or services needed in order to mitigate, if not contain, the transmission of COVID-19 in the Philippines, which might include measures so as not to overburden our healthcare system, pwede po yang isama. Okay? Pwede pong isama, pwede pong maging parte or ma-include sa pagpo-procure niyo under the bayanihan procurement. But specifically, ano po yung mga items nito? Number 1, personal protective equipment. Kasama na po dyan ng mga medical supplies, medical equipment, some basic medicines, test kits, and the like. Right? What's important in this provision, sasabihin ninyo, pwede niyong tanungin, paano kung wala dyan yung item? Pwede ba yun? Pwede ko ba siyang ma-procure? Meron po tayong ka-actual sa provision na to. Ay, number 1, sabi dito, such other supplies or equipment as may be determined by the Department of Health or other government agencies. So ang kailangan lang pong gawin, mag-issue ang DOH or ang pang-ahensya ng isang circular or guidelines nila na nagsasabi na ito yung mga items na pwedeng idagdag sa bayanihan procurement dahil kinakailangan natin to para sa pag-address or pagsugpo ng COVID. So that's number 1. Number 2, other social services and goods for social amelioration measures in favor of affected communities. Dito po papasok ang DSWD, dito po papasok ang DOLE. Number 3, lists of real property and venue for use to house health workers or serve as temporary quarantine centers, medical relief and aid distribution locations, or temporary medical facilities. So sa atin pong mga government hospitals as well as local government units, kung kinakailangan niyo po ng isang temporary area for distribution location ng mga medical reliefs and other aids, po pwede po tayong mag-list ng real property or venue. Next, for the construction service, establishment, construction, and operation of temporary medical facilities. Alam po natin that the Rizal Memorial Stadium is now already a temporary quarantine facility. The DPWH is also preparing the World Trade Center, the PICC, and the Philippine Arena for this purpose. Next, kasama po dyan ng mga critical services na kinakailangan sa pag-ooperate ng mga quarantine centers, medical relief, and aid distribution centers, kagaya ng utilities, telecommunications, and other critical services. And finally, which I think is most important because a lot of people would say, wala sa nabanggit mo earlier yung kailangan namin. Paano ko pwedeng gamitin ng bayanihan procurement? Well, pwede siyang mag-fall under ancillary services related to the foregoing. Ano pong example nun? Balikan po natin yung ating establishment or construction of temporary medical facilities. Nabanggit ko po kanina that DPWH is doing this right now. Wala pong nakalagay dyan na construction supplies. Pero dahil maaari po na sa pag-transform po ng DPWH ng mga existing facilities para maging medical or quarantine facility, kinakailangan nyo bumili ng construction supplies, pwede pong pumasok dito sa ancillary services related to the foregoing, yung paggamit ninyo ng bayanihan procurement tools. But now, let's see. What if talagang wala? At the end of the day, hindi po talaga natin makita or hindi natin makita na pwede siyang ancillary or related dun sa mga items na na-identify. Hindi ba ako pwedeng magkaroon ng emergency procurement? Maaari pa rin po kayong mag-emergency procurement, but this time, kailangan niyo pong gamitin ang negotiated procurement emergency cases rules under sections 53.b of 9184 and under the guidelines issued by the GPPB on the matter. So, ang importante lang po ay mag-qualify po kayo sa conditions for the use of negotiated procurement emergency cases. Ano-ano po ba yung mga conditions niyon? Basically, dalawa po siya. Alam po natin yung una, kapag merong imminent danger to life or property during a state of calamity. Very, very important po yun. Pangalawa naman po is that when time is of the essence, okay, arising from man-made or natural calamities, or when immediate action is needed, okay, from other causes in order to prevent damage or loss of life or property, at the same time, to restore vital services, okay, public utilities or infrastructure services. So yun po yung kailangan nating maalaala na dalawang kondisyon na po pwede nating gamitin ang negotiated procurement for emergency cases. Okay. Bago po tayo pumunta dun sa procedure ng bayanihan procurement, ano pa ho kaya ang difference nung bayanihan procurement at negotiated procurement emergency cases under 9184? Bukod po dun sa unang nasabi ko, tatandaan niyo po that the provisions of bayanihan procurement under GPPB Circular Number 1 has a limited effectivity starting April 12 until June 23, 2020 lamang po pwede siyang gamitin. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? Kailangan po nakapag-issue na kayo ng Notice of Award by June 23, 2020. You might ask, why limited? Because the law by which this issuance was based, Bayanihan Act, has a limited effectivity period as well. So, kailangan ho ang effectivity ng Bayanihan procurement ay pareho lamang or alongside the effectivity of the Bayanihan Act. The only caveat is unless the act is sooner revoked, earlier than the 3-month period or extended by act of Congress. Okay, so yun po. Now, having clarified all of those things, I'm sure you would like to know, paano ba natin simulan ang emergency procurement under the Bayanihan Act? Okay, I'm giving you here, shown on your screen, a quick summary of how it is. A 4-step process on how you actually do Bayanihan procurement. First, the most important, I have to say, would be for the preparation of project requirements. Okay, dito po papasok yung ating pagma-market study or ma-market survey. Number 2, certification of the availability of funds and updating of the APP. Number 3, the direct negotiation itself. Okay, and finally, award of contract. Next, let's go to the first step. A lot of people might say, kailangan pa ba naming mag-market survey, mag-market study bago kami mag-bayanihan procurement? Kailangan po. Okay? While there's urgency, kailangan pa rin ho yung gumawa ng market study or market survey. Bakit po? With more reasons, especially with this particular pandemic. Why? It disrupted supply value chain system ng buong mundo, hindi lamang po ng Pilipinas. So yun pong market study or yung kaalaman ninyo on what to procure and the amount last week, pwedeng mali na po yun ngayon kung ngayon kayo magpo-procure. So importante na magkaroon po kayo ng survey or market scanning para malaman. Number 1, tama pa ba ang approved budget for the contract ko? Sapat pa ba ang budget ko para sa proyekto ko ito? And number 2, most importantly, meron pa bang supply? In one of the interagency task force briefings that we've seen, the DTI Secretary has said, we are now coordinating with manufacturing company. Why? Kasi we want them to transform their manufacturing into the requirements for COVID, for the production of alcohol, for the production of masks, for the productions of PPEs. Why? Because precisely, ang hirap na ho makakuha ng supply. So, importante nating malaman, bago pa tayo magsimula, meron ba tayong makakukuhanan? Baka wala. Baka yung limited nating area, baka wala doon. So, napaka-importante po that when we prepare our project requirements, we are mindful of those 2 important items, right? So, of course, you need to include there your technical specification, the required quantity, and the date of delivery, and such other relevant information that you may require. Now, kung tapos na ako na mag-prepare ng project requirements, ano na yung kailangan kong gawin? Ano po ba usually ang ating iniisip after nating mag-prepare ng project requirements? We need to look at meron ba akong available budget? Especially po right now, because there are agencies na wala hong napreparang budget for this. Pero maaari hong may dumating because of the Bayanihan Act as well. It allowed for augmentation of the budgets for COVID for some agencies. So maaari pong dati wala, maaari ngayon meron po. And the next logical question would be, kailangan ko pa ba ng approved APP bago ako mag-procure under the Bayanihan Procurement? As a rule, yes. Kailangan pa po siya. However, if time is of the essence, meron po tayong may mga ahensya tulad ng GOCC at SUC. Their APPs are approved by the board of directors. If time is of the essence at nakikita ninyo, baka hindi na kayanin pa na paaprubahan ng ating APP bago magsimula ng procurement, pwede nyo muna ho yung i-forgo. So again, as a rule, kailangan po natin ng approved APP, pero may exception. Maaari po tayo mag-commence ng procurement kahit walang approved APP, basta meron po kayong certification from the budget officer or equivalent position na meron hong budget available for your project. Okay? Importante ho yun. Very, very fundamental. Wala ho tayong ibabayad kung wala ho tayong budget for our procurement project. Okay? Now, so meron na akong project requirements, alam ko na ilan bibilin ko, alam ko na meron akong supplier na pwedeng puntahan, meron akong budget, I can now directly negotiate with the supplier. Okay? But before you do that, let me just take note of the concept of delegation of authority and why it's very important insofar as procurement, Bayanihan procurement is concerned. There are two types of delegations of authority that has been allowed under the Bayanihan procurement. Number one would be the authority of the Pope, okay, to approve the APP or to award the contract. Bakit po? Particularly for the LGU executives, they're all over the place. Baka wala na ho silang oras para mag-approve pa ng APP or mag-award ng kontrata. Maaari po, i-allow po ni Hope na ma-delegate to another person. Okay? Letter B, okay? The authority to directly negotiate or conduct the procurement activities. Hindi ho kailangan back ang mag-direct negotiation. Yun po yung ibig sabihin ng pangalawa. Pwede ho by authority of the Hope, pwede niyong i-delegate sa isang tao, sa end user unit, sa isang bureau, ang authority na mag-procure. Bakit po? Maaari po kasi na hindi nyo makompleto ang back, ang mga back members ninyo during this emergency. So, kailangan meron po tayong alternative or another option by which magpa-function po yung procurement ng ahensya. Okay? We highly encourage for the Hope to do the delegation of authority. Why? Because it will further streamline the process of procurement under the Bayanihan Act. Now, having said that, we now go to direct negotiation with the supplier. Sino bang supplier ko? We refer to the supplier, distributor, manufacturer, contractor, consultant, and even farmers associations or cooperatives. So, direction na tayong pupunta. Kailangan ba siyang i-post sa PhilJeps? Hindi po. Kailangan ko bang mag-submit sa supplier ng request for quotation at kailangan niya bang mag-submit ng bid? Hindi po. Kailangan lang po dala niyo ang product requirements niyo na magiging basihan ng inyong negotiation. At pwede na kayong directly mag-negotiate sa isang supplier. Question, kailangan ba physically makita ko si supplier? No. Local GPPB Resolution 24-2018. Pinayagan na po ng board a long time ago ang paggamit ng video conferencing, webcasting, similar technology sa ating procurement activities. Kasama po dyan ang proseso ng direct negotiation under the Bayanihan procurement or even under the 1984. So pwede ho kayong gumamit ng teknolohiya para makapag-usap at makapag-negotiate sa isang supplier. Okay? Now, going to a more delicate issue, which brings to forward the importance of market survey. Tanong, paano kung hindi kaya ng supplier na nakausap ko i-provide lahat ng pangangailangan ko? Pwede ba 2, 3, 4 o 5 pang supplier ang kontratahin ko para mag-deliver sa akin ng kailangan ko under the Bayanihan procurement? maaari po yung mangyari. Tandaan lang po natin na kinakailangan natin ng proper market scanning to justify. Anong sabihin ng market scanning? Dapat ho, okay, tinignan nyo na, meron ba sa merkado na makapag-provide sa akin ng 1 million PPEs? Okay, yan po ang quantity na procure po ng procurement service for the DOH. Okay? Kung wala, nag-survey kayo, nagtanong kayo, wala naman po pala. Maaari po kayong mag-procure from more than one supplier. Maaari nyo hong i-categorize ang inyong project for Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, or whatever other category you would think of. At yun po ang i-implement ninyong procurement. Will this be considered splitting? No. It's very clear po in the GPPD circular. Kapag na-comply nyo yung condition, na nagtingin kayo sa merkado at walang isang supplier na makapag-provide, maaari po kayong kumuha sa more than one supplier at hindi po yan i-consider na splitting of contracts. Right? Now, paano naman ng price negotiation? Anong basihan ko for price negotiation? Tandaan po natin, okay, the principle of competition is still embedded in the Bayanihan Act, because it required that we get the most advantageous price available in the market. So anong basihan natin? Maaari po kung meron kayo existing price data or DTI kung meron, in this case, baka ho ang DOH or ang PS meron for some of the items procured for COVID. Pero hindi ho kayo kailangan ma-stock doon. Maaari nyo gamitin ang current or prevailing market prices. Because as I mentioned before, nasira ho, na-disrupt ang ating supply and value chain system sa buong mundo. So, maaari hong very, very fluctuating ang prices. So, tignan ho natin kung anong prevailing market price for this. Number 3, for agricultural products, tignan naman po natin bukod ang market prices, tignan din po natin ng local price coordinate, ang retail price na sinet ng local price coordinating council. Alright? So, having explain ano ngayon ang importante niyong malaman during price negotiations. Ready ka na ba to make a recommendation for award? Kung ikaw ang back or yung dinelegate ng hope to negotiate? Well, wait lang po. Tignan natin muna kung ang inyong supplier ay legally, technically, or financially capable. Ano yung sabihin nun? For legally, very simple po. Nag-comply ba siya sa documentary requirements or nag-commit siya mag-comply in the Omnibus Foreign Statement? Technical, ano ang technical? Yung nilagay niyo po sa project requirements. Ano ba yung specifications na nilagay niyo? More importantly, it's also possible that there can be license requirements. FDA certified pa siya and the like. Yan po ay kasama sa technical requirements na kailangan mong i-comply ng supplier. And finally, financial, this is applicable, the net financial contracting capacity at applicable po siya for infrastructure projects. So if you have one, kailangan din po niyang mag-comply dyan. Once po nakakomply siya sa tatlong requirement na yon, pwede na po kayong mag-recommend ng award. Pero ano-ano nga ba yung mga documentary requirements na kinakailangan natin for bayanihan procurement? I have to say it's similar to negotiated procurement emergency cases. May konting difference lang when it comes to submission and also particularly the Omnibus Foreign Statement. For all procurements, kailangan ho ng mayor's permit. Kapag ka more than 500,000 ng ABC, kailangan ho ng Omnibus Foreign Statement at ng ITRN or business tax returns. Ano yung ibig kong sabihin OSS new provisions? Ang ibig lang kong sabihin yan, huwag niyo gamitin yung lumang OSS forms. Tingnan po ninyo yung Appendix 1 ng GPPB Circular Number 1 kasi nandun po yung mga bagong provisions na nakalagay sa ating Omnibus Sworn Statement. Yung po mga provisions na yon ay nagbibigay ng protection sa procuring entity. Bakit? Dahil po wala tayong bid security, wala ho tayong performance security, at wala din tayong warranty security sa ating bayanihan procurement. Meron po mga commitments na nakalagay doon. Meron po mga possible penalties such as blacklisting. Andun din po yung commitment for the warranty provision. Kaya ho importante na maibigay po yung OSS, okay, for projects more than 500,000. For infrastructure, kailangan mo ng pick-up license and of course, additional requirement for infra projects, 500,000 and above, kailangan po ng NFCC. Right? Tanong, paano kung meron ka na existing supplier, i-engage mo lang siya uli at meron naman ng document submitted sa PhilJeps. Kailangan nyo lang tignan kung updated. Hindi nyo kailangan ipa-resubmit ito. Maaari din po na hindi ho siya PhilJeps Platinum at pero meron ho kayong sariling records ng updated documents ng supplier. Maaari nyo gamitin yun. Huwag na ho kayong magpa-submit ng bago. Right? Now, papaano ngayon sa-submit ng bidders or ng suppliers ang kanyang documentary requirements? Kailangan ba niyang pumunta ng opisina? Hindi po. Pwede ho siyang pumunta kung kaya niya, pero pwede rin ho ito i-submit through electronic mail or fax. Kailan siya i-submit? At any time before payment. Tandaan po natin yon. Pwede ho siyang mag-submit during negotiation, before award, after award, basta before payment. Okay? Except the omnibus sworn statement, kailangan po siyang masubmit at any time before the award of contract. Bakit? Kasi po, nandiyan po nakalagay ang commitments ng ating supplier, so kailangan po natin siyang ibigay before award of contract. Now, you might say, yung omnibus sworn statement ko, paano ko pipirmahan yun kung i-email ko lang sa'yo? Okay? Matagal na rin pong pinayagan ng JPPB in Resolution 16-2019 ang paggamit ng digital signature. Ano po yung digital signature? I provided you a sample here on the screen. All you have to do is go to the ict.gov.ph, register online. We are now doing the validation of the use of digital signature online. Mabilis lang po yan. It would take you about 3 days to about a week to complete everything. So you can already use your digital signature. Pwede bang other forms than digital signature? Pwede po. Sabi po sa circular, digital signature or similar means in all procurement-related documents. So pwede po yon magamit. Okay. Now, marami hong may quarantine, marami hong sarado, wala kayong makitang notaryo. Paano makapag-submit ng omnibus sworn statement ng supplier? The rules po allow that the OSS submitted may be unnotarized. The only requirement is you comply therewith after award of contract but before payment. Okay. What about mayor's permit? May mga LGUs baka hindi pa nakakapag-issue ng kanilang mayor's permit. OR pa lang. Pwede ba yun? Pwede po. As long as you have the OR as proof of application and payment for the renewal of the permit. Okay, subject as well to the submission of the mayor's permit after award of the contract. Okay, so meron pa ba tayong mga documentary requirements? I think I've already covered that. Once you have the documentary requirements, once you have determine the capacity of the supplier, legally, technically, okay? Immediately ho, pagka-award, pipirma ho kayo ng dokumento or the kontrata and the contract period stipulated covering the procurement at hand. The goods or infrastructure projects will be delivered or implemented shall be free from defects and conform to the quality standards and technical specification of the said contract. Wala po kasi tayong warranty security, kaya po kailangan nandiyan yan sa ating contract provisions. Meron bang reservation clause ang hope or delegate under bayanihan procurement? Meron po. Okay. Kahit po ni-recommend ng award, if the hope to the benefit of the government. And finally, a posting requirement for transparency and accountability, especially for the bayanihan procurement, because Congress required the government to submit regular reports on the activities and particularly the funds that have been used for the implementation of measures to contain or mitigate the spread of COVID-19. Now, tanda po natin earlier, pwede hong walang APP. That's why binibigyan po natin hanggang 30 September 2020 ang APP covering the Bayanihan procurement on their website at, don't forget this, on the GPPB online portal at gppbgovph.com. Tandaan niyo po ulit, happy September on the GPP. Okay. What are the other things you need to post? The back to the secretariat would have been on the online portal for emergency procurement. Okay. Ano po ba itong GPPB online portal for emergency procurement? Ginawa po ito ng GPPB TSO. Okay. Para ho, mas madali ho kayong makapag-post. Hindi po kasi tayo nakaka-post kung hindi PhilJobs ready. We have provided this portal para na sa ganun po mas mabilis ang pag-hook na Bayanihan Act. At the same time, apart from the portal being used for transparency on the procurements conducted under Bayanihan, we actually allowed the suppliers, we added functionalities on the portal to allow suppliers to also post. There are already items posted po sa portal, so check gppbgovph.com. Why is this important? Mas mabilis ho ang inyong market survey kasi it's there already. We have limited the suppliers to the items included in the Bayanihan Act. I've already checked it before and there's already items posted. We can actually use it. Now, kayo ho ba? Hindi kayo supplier, hindi kayo procuring entity, pwede ba kayong tumingin sa portal? Pwede ho. No need for any registration. Just go to gppbgovph.com. Makikita niyo po ano yung mga items na pinost ng supplier at the same time ng mga procuring entities. Right? Now, that's the end of the Bayanihan that we have included under the guidelines. Number one, direct purchase from local farmers. What does it mean? And you might, meron pong mga covered by the Bayanihan procurement, pwede nyo bilhin yun, okay, for relief from our local farmers diretso. Marami ho tayong local farmers na affected by the destruction. We buy from them directly. Paano po natin malalaman na local farmers sila? Humingi po tayo ng any of the three. Meron ba siyang certification na isang farmer under the RSB SA? This is under the Department of Agriculture. Kung wala pa ho siyang certification, baka meron na ho siyang ID. Tingnan ho natin siya ng RSB SA ID. Or kung wala pa rin po, humingi lang po tayo sa certification from the barangay that the supplier is actually a bonded farmer. That's all that you will require for you to actually directly negotiate with the locals. You are guided by the two price standards in negotiating for the prices. The average prevailing farm gate price for the province or the recommended retail price by the local price coordinating council, either in the province, municipality, or city. Now, ano naman ang dokumento na nagpapakita na bumili ako sa farmer, sa isang local farmer? Yung disbursement voucher na yun, gagamitin po ng procuring entity. Papapirmahan niya po yan sa farmer. This has to be signed by the farmer and that will serve as the delivery invoice. Okay? And it will also evidence actual delivery and receipt of payment. Okay? So that's all for direct purchase or negotiation with the local farmer. Next question ninyo, may repeat order ba sa Bayanihan procurement? Meron po. We call it a special repeat order. Ano yung kailangan kong gawin? Again, this is where market survey comes very, very, it's very, very important. Or its importance is highlighted. Because number one yung tatanungin is kung pwede ka bang mag-reorder. Okay, ano yung mga, one of the conditions bago ka mag-reorder? kailangan makita mo ano ba yung mga available in the market. Baka yun kasing dati mong kontrata, mas mahal na siya kasi first, of course, to determine, kailangan mong mag-reorder. Meron akong kontrata dati, okay? Yung NOAA niya na-issue within 6 months at kailangan ko mag-reorder. Number 1. Tinignan ko sa merkado, okay, wala namang mas mababang presyo. Pag na-confirm ko yun, pwede na ako mag-direct negotiation with a supplier. Kailangan mo lang gawin since ready ka na mag-issue ng notice of award, ilalagay mo lang sa notice of award that this is for a special repeat order. Okay? Important rule, bawal ho ang advance payment kapag a special repeat order. Now, to be sure, let me lay down to you the conditions for a special repeat order. Limited po siya sa goods. Goods lang po. Hindi pwedeng infra, hindi pwedeng consultancy. Number 1. Number 2, kailangan po, or related to number 1, goods covered by the Bayanihan Act. Okay? Number 2, yung goods po nabili under a contract previously awarded through any mode of procurement. Any mode of procurement, very important. Hindi ko kailangan public bidding. Pwede hong small value, provided that the NOAA was issued within the last 6 months. Okay? Number 3, unit prices must be same or lower than those in the original contract if available in the market. Shown in acceptance. And finally, the original contract. Okay? So yan po ang rules or condition for a special repeat order. And finally, I want to discuss to you advance payment po. Okay? Anong percentage ng advance payment? Tinaas na po yan ng ating presidente upon the recommendation of the GPTV. Look for OP Memorandum Order number 48. I think it's dated April 20 or 21-20. Inalaw po niya ang advance payment not to exceed 30% the contract amount basta items covered ng Bayanihan Act. If you're doing negotiated procurement emergency cases, ang allowable nyo lang po advance payment at 15%. Okay, what about lease of venue real property? Diba ako mag-advance payment? Pwede po, a single advance payment not to exceed 50% of the contract shall be allowed. Okay, basta the requirement of down payment is a standard industry practice. You might ask, para saan ba itong mga lease of venue property? Remember, we allow for temporary housing of health workers, medical relief and aid distribution locations and the like, right? Tandaan po din natin na nakalagay din po sa OP Memorandum Order number 48 na kailangan po ma-release ng procuring entity ang advance payment within 3 working days from the order of the contract. Bakit ho? Again, under an emergency, we want to be able to further facilitate the process, right? That's the end of our discussion for emergency procurement. I want to also flag that we are now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So you can find GPPBTSO through looking Procurement PH on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Gagamitin po namin ang tatlong social media accounts na yan to inform you of future webinars, also to post issuances, opinions, FAQs, and the like. Right. So thank you so much. I think we're going to have a short break and then we'll go on to the open forum.
Okay, so thank you very much, Attorney Rowena Ruiz. No, so very detailed discussion, specifically on the processes that we need to understand, especially at this time, when we want to procure for goods, especially not just goods, but for our personal protective equipment, So we can say na right now, if you are the viewer who's specifically, of course, local planning, you're also concerned of, you are an executive perhaps, na you want to procure PPEs for your constituents, So this is going to be very helpful for you, especially Ngayon, masabi from the institutions tayo kasi it's hard for us to really to of course, so to go from one point to another, no? Kumaga ngayon, very important ang coordination. So thank you, Attorney, no, Rowena, for really providing this system, no, na hindi lang po tayo, kumaga, yung manual process natin, talagang na-translate po natin into, given, of course, the new normal, no? All the more we have to really migrate to digital. So thank you again for the very thorough and very situation-centered discussion. Yun. So we will have a 2-minute break. So for those who are listening now, no? So meron pa tayong 1 minute. Okay. We are again, no, thankful, no, for the participation of course, this program will not be possible without, of course, the Government Procurement Policy Board, technical support, no, office, no, for really assisting us in this, no. So very important ang involvement nila dito kasi yun nga, it's not just the yun nga, we need to really assess, no, which amongst the vast literature of procurement is necessary to be communicated, no, to all of us here, no. At the same time, no, for the U.S. Embassy, no, for the support. So this just started as a coffee discussion, no, just like any other initiative, no. So we started with that, and then eventually it has grown into a project like this. So we are adapting to the new normal. Okay, sige. So perhaps, no, okay. So yan. So welcome once again. Okay. So really, no, lots of great points, no, that we're getting from Attorney, no, and when you talk about those points, no, it's really part of. Number one is it's really important for us to really know, okay, really be prepared, no, with the documents that we have, no, and really be knowing, no, yung process that was presented earlier. Kasi yun nga, in the end of the day, we don't want to always be checking every now and look for apply for bids, no. Kaso yun nga, parang kulang tayo ng hindi maayos yung pagtingin natin sa proseso, kulang pa ang ating documents, di ba? So very important talaga na makita natin siya holistically. Yun. So procurement is very important, no. Again, no, yung parang other than the process, procurement is important in yun nga, making obtaining, no, through the process. Anyway, so since we're starting, ayan, so meron lang akong konting guidelines, no. So si Arnold, ayan, nagbabalik. Okay, so he will be co-facilitating this open forum. So during the open forum, the host will call out the in-Zoom participant's name. Okay? So meron po yung mga nasa Zoom, no, meron po kayong mga pinost na questions dyan. So GPTB is looking at your questions, and then once na tinawag po ang mga pangalan nyo, no, feel free with his or her audio and video. So please do turn your audio and video kapag tinawag po ang pangalan nyo to ask that question. You should be ready. So be ready. Our 56, no, online Zoom participants. And for those who are in FB Live, no, please do access the Slido, and then of course, no, please type in your question. So kung meron man pong question na hindi po masagot, yun, sasagutin din po yan ng ating technical support office, no. So and the second guideline here is Okay, so reminders for the question to be asked, only questions about emergency procurement. Okay, so wag po tayo magtatanong about social amelioration, about matters pertaining to leadership, no? Siguro, how is it related to good governance? Pwede yon, no? Pero important talaga na we stick with this, no? Emergency procurement under the Bayanihan Act, no? So we'll be firstly entertained in the open forum on Zoom. However, in case the participants, viewers have comments or additional concerns on the Bayanihan Act or other questions beyond the presentation after the webinar, they can input these in Slido with event code #governmentprocurementph, okay? So to which our office will answer through an issuance or FAQs. Yun. So again, no, for the Zoom participants, tatawagin po kayo, you will speak here in this open forum. Then for the Slido, we will consider your questions later or for further. So I think malinaw naman yung ating dialogue. Okay, so let's now start, no? Where shall we? This.
Okay, Sean. Are you there po, ma'am? Okay, nasagot na raw. Pero ito po yung question niya. Are we expecting the GPPB to release alternate list of procurement documents in lieu of physical documents to proceed with the procurement? Pero according to her, nasagot na raw.
Just allow me to reiterate, no, just in case hindi mo naabutan ng iba. First of all, the PowerPoint presentations will be uploaded on our website, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitter accounts. Okay, so don't worry. I think for those who registered with iProcure through Zoom, you get a copy of the presentation. For those listening on Facebook, you can get a copy by downloading it through our website and also Facebook and then Twitter. For the question, meron bang alternative forms? Lahat po ng mga forms na kinailangang baguhin nandun na po sa circular. The project requirements, the details are there. The revised omnibus warrant statement, nakalagay din po doon na maaari kayong mag-submit in printed or through email or fax. Okay, so klaro po yun, hindi po kailangan ng physical presence. Even the negotiation that can be done through video conferencing. All right, next question.
Next question po from Mr. John Mark Duetes. Ito po yung sabi niya, is there any guidelines or mechanism provided by GPPB in conducting market scanning/survey?
The guidelines for market scanning and survey, you can see it or check our generic procurement manual for goods, infra, and consulting services. But essentially, ang kailangan lang niyo po kasing makita, okay, in doing the market survey is that ma-identify ninyo ano yung mga specifications na kailangan ninyo, kung may available supplier at kung magkano. At the same time, as I mentioned earlier, maaari niyo pong i-access ang ating GPPB online portal, gppbgolfph.com. Meron na po tayong mga suppliers na nag-post sa mga items na available po sa kanila at kung magkano ito. At the same time, I'd like to take the opportunity to also note that you can also buy a lot of the COVID supplies from the procurement service. Why? Because one of the things that the GPPB approved, okay, at the start of the ECQ, even before the ECQ, was to include some items. I cannot just recall all of them, but test kits are included, PPEs are included, masks are included as common supply items where you can actually directly buy from the procurement service, including alcohol and some of those supplies. So do check the website of the procurement service as well.
Okay po, thanks. Another question po from Zoom, from Mr. Emmanuel Sakay. Sabi niya, how much if there is a recommended/maximum amount allowed to be procured in emergency procurement? And how much per item if there are limits?
For that question, wala akong limit na binibigay ang bayanihan procurement sa ano yung pwede mong bilhin under the rules. Ang magiging difference lang po would be the documentary requirements. If it's more than 500,000, may additional. But otherwise, wala po tayong threshold.
Okay po. Another question from Zoom, from Miss Maria Estela Nacion. Sabi niya, new normal, are NGAs allowed to use capital outlay funds to be spent to IT equipment and infrastructure to beef up work from home setup as COVID-19 measure?
Okay. The first part of the question is a budgeting concern. Are we allowed to use capital outlays for IT? I would have to defer to DBM. Hindi po kasi ako taga-DBM. Meaning you have to ask your DBM representative if you're an agency, pwede ka bang mag-modify from capital outlays to IT equipment kung ano po yung gusto nyong bilhin. Assuming po payagan kayo ng DBM or allowed po siya under the rules ng DBM, tatandaan nyo lang po, whatever IT equipment ang bibili nyo or whatever equipment you'd like to buy or whatever supplies, kasama ba siya dun sa enumeration na nabanggit ko? Look at item 2.2 of GPPB Circular number 1. Kung hindi siya kasama specifically enumerated, dinagdag pa siya ng DOH or other agencies as among the items na pwedeng bilhin under the Bayanihan Act. Or kung hindi pa rin siya kasama doon, ancillary ba siya dun sa mga services mentioned above? Ano yung mga ancillary? Katulad ng example ko, construction supplies. Kung ikaw ay, for the DPWH, for you to be able to transform existing facilities into quarantine sites or centers. Kahit hindi po naka-identify doon ng construction supply. Now, ang importante po nating malaman, sino ba ang magdedetermine kung covered ako ng bayanihan procurement items ko? Ang procuring entity po ang makakaalam kung covered po ba yung project or hindi. Bakit? Kayo po ang pinaka nakakaalam ng mandato ninyo. Lahat ng binibili natin sa gobyerno, kailangan naka-relate sa ating mandato. At kayo rin po ang nakakaalam ano yung mga projects na kailangan ninyong implement para magampan ninyo yung mandato ninyo. Okay? At dahil kayo po ang gumawa ng project, kayo po ang nakaka-identify ng mga details ng project requirements para malaman ninyo, related ba to or ancillary ba to sa pag-respond natin sa COVID. Okay? Next question.
Next question po, from Mr. Sandro Noguera and Mr. Robinson Luzon. Medyo similar po yung questions nila. Ito po yung sabi nila, can a government agency which is not a frontliner allowed to purchase items for donation to our frontliners? Tapos yung second question, can we procure PPEs or goods to be donated to our LGU or other medical services?
Right. Maganda po yung tanong. I think, well, there are two questions. Essentially, the question is, ako, government agency, maaari ba akong bumili ng items under the Bayanihan or perhaps any items na gusto mo later on i-donate? Okay, to medical frontliners or to LGUs?
Yes.
My answer is this is not actually a procurement question, but I will answer this. Kasi maganda ho yung tanong eh. Number one, tanongin niyo po yung sarili ninyo, nasa mandato niyo po ba ang mag-donate? Okay? If you're a GOCC, if you're an SUC, look at your charter, look at your special law. Are you allowed through the authority of your board of directors to actually make donations? For most government agencies po, you have to look at your mandate or your law. If you don't have a special law, look at the admin code. Inaalaw po ba kayo na mag-donate? Yun po ang makakasagot. Okay? Kung pwede kayong mag-donate. Okay? On the other hand, pwede naman hindi po siya in the form of donation eh. In the form of you buying the items yourselves, okay, as a part of your performance of your function. Titignan niyo po again ang inyong mandato. Pwede ba akong bumili ng PPE kung ako ang DILG-PNP para gamitin ng mga pulis? Nasa mandato ba ng pulis ang ano ba yung role nila to maintain order? And of course, to ensure health ng ating mga kapulisan, maaari po kayong bumili ng mask. So in those scenarios po, yung two different scenarios ang pinrovide ko para ma-compare niyo on your legal basis. Meron ba kayo sa mandato ninyo na authorized kayo mag-donate? On the other hand, pwede ba akong bumili ng item, ng PPE for instance, or ng mask? Bibigay ko sa, if I'm DILG PNP, sa empleyado ko sa kapulisan para maprotektahan sila. In that aspect, dahil kasama ko sa role ng PNP, DILG PNP, local order and protection as part of the COVID yan sa mandato ninyo. So bottom line, tignan po natin, authorized ba tayo and undertake this activity?
Okay po. So from slide, so can subscription to Zoom Premium be considered under emergency procurement under Bayanihan Act?
I will have to revert back to the list. Okay? Again, babalik tayo sa ancillary. Ano ka bang ahensya? Let's say you are the agency that manages, for instance, the interagency task force. Okay? You ask yourself, related ba yung pagbili ko ng Zoom sa mga activities ng interagency task force on COVID? Your answer to that question is yes, po pwede. So, ibig sabihin, we go back to our mandate. Okay? Ano ba yung role ko ng ahensya ko? Okay? Yung mandato ng ahensya ko, number one. Ano yung role ng ahensya ko sa pag-mitigate or contain ng COVID. So, I made the example, the interagency task force, para mas madali yung marili.
Okay po. So, another question from Slido. Sabi po dito, will bayanihan procurement apply to foreign offices or foreign service posts of the government?
Yes, because our consular offices is actually an extension of the Philippine jurisdiction. So our laws, Philippine laws, apply within the confines of our embassies abroad, our consular offices abroad. So kaya ho lagi kong sinasabi, if you have not been to the US, you go to the US Embassy. If you're able to go inside, you're practically within US jurisdiction. Kasi po, yan po yung international law natin. No? So, ang jurisdiction po ng ating consular embassies at ang mga foreign posts abroad is Philippine jurisdiction. So, mag-a-apply po ang ating bayanihan procurement.
Bids and Awards Committee. Sabi po dito, while we appreciate relaxation of document requirements under emergency procurement, we believe that normal document requirements continue during lockdown. How about document requirements under PB/AMP?
Okay, the question is, other than emergency procurement, that the question? What about the documentary requirements under? I understand the concern. Now, right now, I would hesitate to answer because I cannot preempt them. But what I can say is that rest assured that the GPPB is doing everything it can to actually make procurement easier, not only under bayanihan procurement, but also for public bidding and other modalities during the state of calamity. We're not only talking about during the ECQ, because it will be lifted provisional schedule by May 15. But during the state of the calamity that the President declared earlier, for about 6 months, if I'm not mistaken, the board has already. So katulad ho ng mga other resolutions na in-approve ng board, kinailangan ho namin, number one, make sure that it would apply to all. We also need to get the feedback of some of our stakeholders. So, wag po kayo mag-alala. Hindi ko lang po pwede pang sabihin ngayon dahil wala pa hong approval ng board. But soon enough, we will be able to just watch out for these rules on our website and our social media accounts para ho mas mag-guide nyo for the conduct of public bidding and other modalities under 9184. I'm sure excited kayo dahil malapit na ma-lift ang ECQ.
Another question, how about procurement of work for us that earlier mentioned?
Again, PPE itself is covered by the Bayanihan procurement. I think the underlying question is, can agencies buy PPEs for their own employees? If we understood the question correctly. So again, PPEs within the period of the applicability of the Bayanihan procurement until June 23, 2020 is covered or included under the items that may be procured under the Bayanihan procurement. As to whether or not your agency can procure them for the employees, that is really the call of the agency. I cannot answer for the mandate of the agency at saka yung accountability po kasi nasa ahensya. So with that, as I mentioned earlier, the determination is always on the procuring entity on what to buy, when to buy, how much to buy, when to deliver, etc.
Yes, ma'am. May another interesting question po ulit dito. Does COA or banks honor documents signed with digital signature?
COA or?
Does COA or banks honor documents signed with digital signature?
I cannot answer po for banks because it has nothing to do with procurement. I think that is something we have to address the matter before the BSP, I suppose, or the banks themselves. But for the COA, I will not tell. I cannot tell you what are the rules of the COA on the matter. What I can tell you is, under the rules, use of digital signature has been allowed. Okay, and often, if you look at how COA audits, they audit on compliance with rules, so that following that line of thought. Therefore, if the use of digital signature is allowed, therefore, you are complying with the rules. So I don't see any difficulty or issue that may arise. Plus, one thing also I would like to emphasize, when the digital signature, we did it in collaboration with the DICT, and that should give you sufficient confidence in using the digital signature. Okay. One thing also perhaps that others might have some qualms about using digital signature. Meron po kasing security feature ang digital signature, kaya we encourage registration before the DICT. Gumagamit po kasi siya ng public key infrastructure. Okay? Para ho lang mabilis na ma-explain yung security feature niya, let me say this. Pagka ho, you saw earlier in the presentation how the digital signature would look like. Kapag ka ho nilagay ninyo or inauthorize ninyo yung paglalagay, because it's a software that you will upload in your computer, the moment po na baguhin ang kahit na anong letra or punctuation, kahit isang comma lang po natanggalin, dun sa document na napirmahan nyo na, mawawala po yung signature ninyo. Okay. That's one security feature. The digital signature. That's why we highly encourage that you go to dict.gov.ph. He did it in a gumagamit
documents be done in GCS.
Yung pong payment, I will have, since hindi po sakop ng GPTB ang payment mechanism, so meaning po, govern po siya ng DBM and COA, hindi po namin siya makokontrol. In fact, when we did the Bayanihan procurement, but this is evidently not within the jurisdiction of the board, so hindi po namin kayang gawin. What we did was instead, with COA for cooperation, baka pwede rin ho maglabas ang COA ng rules, no? Remember, even before the Bayanihan Act, right after the Bayanihan Act, there's a joint memorandum circular signed by GPPB Chair Weda Sado and the COA Chair himself, okay, endorsing emergency rules, okay, for the procurement during the state of calamity. Part of that collaboration is that we are now recommending certain rules that COA may consider, because COA is an independent constitutional office. We cannot, we can only recommend to them stations na ginawa ng GPPB and TSO when we're doing the Bayanihan procurement.
Okay po. Another question. If the price of the available COVID item at the PSDBM is higher than other suppliers, can government agencies procure from these suppliers at a lower cost?
So, ang sinasabi niyo po ay isang common new supply item. If the basis of the question is that you want to buy a common new supply item, because under the rules po, pagka common new supply item po, kailangan po siyang manggaling sa procurement service or bibili niyo na lamang po sa procurement service. Kaya po, dahil yan po ang ating rule, ang suggestion ko po ay pumunta po kayo sa procurement service dahil under the rules, kailangan niyo pong humingi na SINAS para ho kayo makapag-procure on your own, citing po yung sinabi ninyo na mas mababa kasi yung nakuha ninyong item. The other thing po na kailangan po nating i-emphasize, i-compare ninyo ho yung technical specifications. Okay? Very, very important. Baka ho compare kayo ng apple and oranges. Meaning, sabi ninyo, nakita ninyo yung items sa PS, hindi lang, importante ho, ma-compare ninyo yung price na mas mababa yung price ng supplier na nakuha ninyo. Kasi baka magkaiba naman po yung detalye or specifications. But in any case, assuming po talagang parehong-pareho, but you will be able to show that you can get a lower price, humingi po kayo nung SINAS kasi po yun ang requirement. Baka ho kasi hanapan kayo ng COA ninyo. Okay, again, the assumptions are, it's a common use supply, because for common use supply items, kailangan bilhin sa PS. Kung hindi po siya common use supply, never mind. You can actually procure on your own. You don't have to secure anything. Okay. Second, check po ang specifications. Baka ho, we're talking apples and oranges. Okay. Para ho, klaro ho sa atin na yung specification, yung dalawang bagay na pinacompare nyo, pareho din po ang specifications.
Okay po. Actually, we're done. No more questions na nasagot na po lahat ng questions. But then again, if meron pa pong questions yung public, you can always go to the Slido event of GPPB. Just key in the code #governmentprocurementph. So, yeah, I think we're good with the Q&A portion.
Okay, yan. So again, no, thank you very much for attorney, no. So for entertaining talaga no, all these questions, especially no na yun nga right now I was just looking at my Facebook, no. Talagang everyone is really asking this question. Yun nga, I mean, how will these goods be let's say transferred to their office? Kumaga, more on that fundamental question. The other question is yun nga, talking about how do we obtain no this request that we have. No? So talagang ano, it's been streamlined. So it's really this webinar really GPPB has already done a concrete move to streamline the procurement process for the ease of obtaining the necessary goods. Yun. So before we proceed no dun sa ating closing, no.
Before I just end, let me just again you may get a copy of the presentation earlier on the website, Twitter, and Facebook. If you still have questions, especially non-emergency procurement related questions, drop them at slido.com. Event code #governmentprocurementph. Do not hesitate. We may not be able to answer you directly, but we will try to do so through our issuances. Expect a number of infographics being posted on our Facebook, Twitter, the video for this, so we hope to post as well on our YouTube account, and there will be more webinars to come as well. Let me take also advantage of this opportunity to ask the procuring entities for their support. What we're doing right now is, after this, by next week, we will be having our webinars for local government units in collaboration with the Local Government Academy. Thereafter, what we plan to do would be, if you would like, you may want to invite us. We'll have an exclusive webinar discussion. We'll also be doing, again, open to the public webinars on procurement, not just emergency, but the other aspects of procurement. That would be the new normal, I have to say, for GPPB and TSO when it comes to capacity development of activities for the office. So take advantage now if you would like to have that exclusive webinar session for your agency. Para ho, sabay-sabay ho natin ma-discuss per agency concern. All right. So again, thank you very much. I'd like to thank again iProcure and everybody who watched and tuned in for our presentation this afternoon. Maraming salamat.
Yun. So thank you very much again, Attorney. No? So in behalf of the YCLE Alumni Network and also the U.S. Department of State, no? So we thank you as well for taking this role, no, to become our initial speaker for our series of webinars. Na yun nga, goal eventually, no, since we're talking about the new normal, we are, the plan of viewer solutions with you, no, through our hackathons. So kung meron man kami mapapropose, no, maybe we can work together more. Yun. So thank you very much again, Attorney, no. So thank you. Yes. Okay. So again, no, so this has been the iProcure team. So si Arnold talagang talagang parang napalaban sa dami ng mga questions talaga na tinanong ng ating very active audience, no. So again, no, for in our end for iProcure, no, please watch out for our next webinar. We're going to be talking about more into the side of leadership. So yung kay Ma'am, no, Local Government Academy, no, more detailed procurement, no, for us, no, in a way ganun din, but we're gonna be focused on the best practices na yon. Pero syempre we'll still be inviting GPPB in our and for our hackathons, no, watch out, okay, for kapag like ng page, no, ng both GPPB at ng initiatives for procurement innovations, okay, so please do so. And we will be releasing content, okay, content na related sa topic na to, and please do share it, like, and well, hindi naman subscribe, but yeah, just like and share. Okay, so again, thank you very much and hope you have all a great day. Okay, so bye-bye. So be updated, follow on social media, GPPB. Okay, so Government Procurement PH, then YouTube at Government Procurement, respective LGUs, offices, and communities, and even sa mga kabataan, no? Then Government Procurement PH at Twitter. Okay, so we'll be working with GPPB with the youth engagement part. Yun. So we're really hoping na we can start our hackathon runs very soon. Okay, so be attending seminars and FGDs. Okay. So again, thank you, no, for our panel. So sige, bago tayo magtapos, no, gusto ko lang banggitin si Miss Gina Ruiz, the executive assistant. Okay, no, so she's here, no, answering all your questions. Randy Flores, the information management division. Secretariat division, si Miss Diane and Capacity Development Division who guided the steps that brought us all here. Yun. So thank you very much for the GPPB Technical Support Office team. Okay, so there. So we're done. Okay, so 700 attendees po tayo kanina, no? Maraming salamat po sa pagtangkilik. Okay. So thank you very much and hope continue and stay safe, wash your hands, and keep in touch.
All right.
Baka ilan nito yan. Lima ka rin andun sa yan. Ulit na nag-ano lang ako,